Hi everyone, my name is Nick, and today it's time for another houseplant haul video. Today's plant haul is technically for the month of May, however, I don't think I purchased any of these plants this month. I don't think I've done a houseplant haul video since February, which that was the month I decided I was going to move. And I kind of ceased operations when it came to buying new plants. So I took it pretty easy over the last couple months, but there were a couple that did work their way into my possession. So I did want to spotlight them today before they slip through the cracks. So the first one I want to talk about today, let's talk about this one. This wasn't a recent video for a second in my pottery showcase video. So this is a Peperomia cubensis variegata, and I am a total sucker for this variegation. You guys might know I'm not like a huge variegation lover, but this variegation is just so enigmatic. It's really quite wonderful, and it's so different on every single leaf. I really adore the color of this plant too. I really love just the cream variegation and how it stands out amongst these red stems that kind of zigzag up, similar to like a Peperomia obtusifolia. Peperomia cubensis itself, like the non-variegated version, is a very, very underrated Peperomia. I remember when I worked at the houseplant store, it was one that I was always so excited to get it in, but people did not really seem to appreciate it or want to bring it home, so I guess more for me. But this Peperomia cubensis variegata is from my friends at the Potted Elephant. They sent me a couple plants after I moved into my new home, which was very sweet of them, and this was one that really surprised me when I opened the box. Peperomia across the board tend to be very inexpensive houseplants, which I really enjoy. I would be very surprised to find any Peperomia in a 4-inch pot go for more than $20 maximum, even in today's climate. And hopefully it stays that way for a very long time, because I know plant prices have been fluctuating a lot over the past few years, but there are so many Peperomias, and as a collector it is very exciting to find new ones since there are only a finite amount that are on the market. So this is one that really blew my socks off when I opened the box from the Potted Elephant. It's such a beautiful Peperomia, one of the most beautiful ones I've ever seen. And like I said before, I'm not a sucker for variegation, but this one is just really blowing me away. It's really, really stunning, and I just love how the red and cream is really going well with this green planter that I made. I absolutely love this color. It's one of my favorite colors for pottery. I know green pottery can seem kind of tacky sometimes, but I think it fits them really, really well with all the green plants and the terracotta and the wood that I tend to use in my home. So I don't know, something I really like. The next plant I want to talk about is also from the Potted Elephant, and it's this adorable plain green Syngonium podophyllum. I feel like some people might consider this to be the reverted version of the Albomarginata Syngonium podophyllum, but I think this is just where that plant comes from, but I guess technically it also is a reverted version. It doesn't really matter. But I really love this because it's plain green. I've never seen plain green Syngoniums on the market. I feel like when I worked at the store, we would either get the cream version or the pink version, and I don't know, something about those leaves, it's just not the most appealing leaf color to me. Like the way it looks just never looks good. It always looks like remotely sick, which is why I love the plain green version, because it's got the same beautiful leaf shape, if not like a little bit more defined, but it has just plain green color, which is exactly what I'm looking for. I really just love plants for being plain green. I don't know why. I feel like if you follow me here, you probably heard me say that I love plants that look like they're growing out of a crack in the sidewalk, like they look that much like a weed, and I feel like this one just looks that much more like a weed for that reason. So it's obviously very small right now. It's a plant that has a lot of potential. If you grow these up a moss pole setting, they are known for getting lobed leaves. I'm pretty sure they get like 5 fingers basically on their leaves, similar to like an Anthurium Radiatum, if that rings a bell at all. But I really enjoyed the immature leaf shape as well as the mature leaf shape. So obviously this plant is very young right now, and I have plenty of time to decide what I want to do, as these also perform very well as trailing plants. These do get kind of leggy vines if you just let them grow. I have one off screen here. I don't really know how well it's going to show up, but my Syngonium erythrophyllum Yano it's got some really nice like vines going on right now, and I really appreciate that for that type of plant. But I might want to try growing this one up a moss pole because of these beautiful plain green leaves. I might want them to have a little bit more pizzazz with their leaves. But like I keep saying, I really love them just for how it is, and I think it's perfect, and I wish this was a plant we saw more on the market. And it's extremely inexpensive. I think it was only a couple of dollars on the Potted Elephant's store, so much more to love about it. But I can't wait to watch this one grow. It's just the most adorable little plant ever. Like, is this not super cute? I keep this on my desk right next to where I do my work because it's literally the cutest thing ever. So, yeah, it's very easy to take care of. Syngoniums are like exactly like pothos and philodendron. They're just very, very easygoing houseplants. I do have one more from the Potted Elephant today. I think this is going to be kind of difficult to show because of the way it's planted. It's this Hoya Lanceolatabella Variegata, Albomarginata. I don't know the name. I'll put the correct name on screen. But this is just the variegated Hoya Bella, and I've loved growing Hoya Bella in my home, and I got one of my Hoya Bellas just as a teeny tiny cutting, just like this one right here. And it's grown into a nice, sizable plant at this point. So I know that this one has a lot of potential. It has started growing for me, and it's got two growth nodes that had new growth, but they did fall off, and I think that's my error. I do have this up in my window as it is like a wall pocket, so I have it on the inside of the window. And these Hoya Bellas are Hoyas that definitely prefer to be a little bit more on the moist side in comparison to like a Hoya carnosa or pubicalyx. So this is one I do need to pay a little bit more attention to if I want to hold on to the foliage and allow it to grow to its fullest potential. I really do love how small these Hoya leaves are. They're just really, really adorable. Most Hoyas have larger leaves that have like less character than these, but this just looks a lot different than most of the Hoyas that we're used to growing. And the variegation is just so nice. You don't normally see it, like I was saying. Not a sucker for variegation, but these just like little cream edges, it's just stunning. It looks like it just got like a little bit bleached from the sun. I really, really enjoy it. But hopefully in due time, this is going to be a nice, beautiful vine cascading down the wall. My goal is that it'll kind of like start to hang down and cover up this planter. And I do get asked about these planters all the time. I don't know if these are sold online. This is something that I just got from the houseplant store that I worked at, but this is just a ceramic wall pocket, I think it was called in the catalog, and it was by a company called Creative Co-op, which I think also sells on like Amazon and sells to other large companies like Urban Outfitters and a couple others blanking me right now. It's not an advertisement at all. None of the stuff in this video is an advertisement, but just letting you guys know. But yeah, I don't think I have much more to say about this Hoya Bella than I absolutely love it, and it's very small now, but I think this plant has a lot of potential, and I'm very excited to see this grow. Hoya Lanceolatabella with the variegated edges is something I'd never seen on the market before, so I was very excited to receive this from the Potted Elephant. It looks fantastic. I have two more plants to talk about today, and these are both from the farmer's market here in Philadelphia, the like Philly petal plants, roaming plant stand thing that goes all around. And this first one is one that they called a Philodendron jungle fever. I'm not positive if that's the name of this plant. After doing a little bit more research, it seems like this is probably more so a Philodendron florida from not only the leaf shape, but also the rough red petioles, and also that's like a much more common plant, I believe. I could be wrong, but I am gonna put that name on screen. Plus, like every grower that I've ever worked with in the industry sometimes just makes up names for their plants, and that's okay. But I am obsessed with this leaf shape. I already grow Philodendron florida in my home, but this was a larger specimen, and the plants at the farmer's market are like scary cheap, so I figured, why not? I have barely any room for any more plants, but what's another 6-inch pot to add to the home? But I really just am head over heels for this leaf shape. I feel like in my past couple of years of doing like my favorite plants or top 10 plants or whatever I call the videos, that this leaf shape always ends up in like the top 2 because I just love it. It's got so much character, and I really, really love how like this one and Squamiferaum do have these nice red petioles. It is very, very nice. And these do get to be such gorgeous plants once they do start vining and or climbing, however you have it grown. But I love it. They are truly plants that stand out in the home. This is just like the most amazing leaf shape ever. I love the lobes. It's so phenomenal. I wish that there were a lot more philodendrons like this readily available on the market because there is just so much to love about them. And they're very, very easy growing plants. Like philodendrons, all the ones at least that aren't like $200 are usually very easy to grow. Specifically in our indoor home settings, they do not require a lot of light. They do perfectly fine with like a north or east facing window or pulled back from like a west or south facing window. So they're very reliable. I feel like the worst thing you can do to your philodendrons is overwater them, which you'll just kind of start to lose a bunch of leaves on the lower parts of the vine, but they're very, very easy growing plants. I do feel very confident bringing a philodendron in my home always that it's going to do well. Of course, they do have to acclimate, and sometimes it does take some time for them to start growing. This one hasn't done a single thing for me. It will in due time, but I'm usually shocked, to be honest, if my plants really start chugging along in the first year that I have them, because they really just have to acclimate from that greenhouse setting to go into the store to going to your home. They are really getting bounced around a lot. Sometimes they're on a truck for like a week's time. It doesn't matter if you're buying a plant in store or if you're ordering one online. It's going to spend time in the mail or on the truck or something of that matter where it's not going to be happy in the way that it was stored. So do bear with your plants as they acclimate to your space. But in due time, this is going to be an absolutely gorgeous specimen. But even with these 3 leaves right now, I absolutely cannot complain. It's freaking gorgeous. The last plant I have to talk about today is also from the farmer's market, the petal farmer's market. So this is a Philodendron SUBHASTATUM. And I feel like from the top, this looks like just some run-of-the-mill green philodendron that back, at least when I worked at the plant store, everyone would glaze over and not pay any attention to. That is until you flip it around to the back and it's got this gorgeous shade of red that's very reminiscent to like a Calathea or a Stromanthe with those beautiful colors on the back side. However, this is something you don't really see with philodendrons, at least in my experience. I've never recalled seeing other colors on the back sides of philodendrons like this, other than the ones that are like wild, velvety, and just got a lot of character. This is a very plain-leafed philodendron that really does have a lot of character because of that red underside. And also because this is a very like hardy feeling leaf, I'm sure this plant is a very easy plant to grow. I've only had it for like a month or two so far, but it has put off this leaf for me, and it has another one coming in. They're the slightest bit wonky, of course, like I was saying with the Philodendron Florida. I'm not really used to my plants growing for me at all for the first year, so it seems like this one's really trying to acclimate to my space, but it's gonna take a couple leaves before it really gets chugging along. But I'm thrilled to see this. This is something I've never seen on the market commercially before. This is something I've only saw from like collector stores. And the farmer's market, the petal farmer's market, once again, as I've said for this video multiple times, that there's no advertisements in this video. However, I am a huge fan of this farmer's market. I literally try not to go very often because they're just so ahead of the trends and it's so inexpensive. And the grower, like, I don't even know if he knows how ahead of the trends he is, to be honest, from how inexpensive they are. And I've spoken to him. I'm amazed at the stuff that he seems to know, but at the same time, I don't think he knows how good at this he is. He and his workers do such a good job, and their selection is so incredible. Like literally the best selection I've ever seen at any store in my entire life. And it always changes. So every time I go, there's going to be different stuff. Something's always interesting, something I've never seen on the market before. And that's why I try not to go, because I'm just gonna end up leaving with plants. So I always try to bring a friend with me to convince them to buy something that I don't want to buy for myself. So this is the one that got me recently. I mean, this and the Philodendron Florida / Jungle Fever did get me on the same day. They were just too good to pass up. But this is a really neat plant. I think this is probably the one I'm most excited about. This is one I really never planned on adding to my collection, just because, like I said, it's not like the most like to die for philodendron. It's just one that always seemed like it was on collector sites and just kind of out of reach. I don't like to spend a lot of money on my plants. I have enough plants. I don't need to spend a lot of money on them, but I think both of these were like $25 each, which is just like astounding. Even if I was to sell these at the plant store back when I worked, I'm sure both of these would be worth at least $60, if not like 70 or 80, if not more than that. I know there's stores in Philadelphia, not gonna name any names, but I'm sure that they would be selling these plants for like $150 plus if they got their hands on them. So that being said, I'm just so thrilled to have some wonderful plant options here in Philadelphia and around Philadelphia, specifically Petal, the farmer's market. So yeah, I'm just gonna start rambling at this point, so I think I'm gonna cut up today's video, but thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope to do more houseplant hauls in the future, but to be honest, I am totally maxed out with my plants. If you can't tell from behind me that I don't have any more room. So if another plant's gonna be coming in, I think another plant's gonna have to go out, you know what I'm saying? So we'll get there. I don't have anything on my wish list right now, surprisingly, so I think I'm gonna take it easy for a little bit, but that doesn't mean I don't have a whole bunch of plants to talk about, so I think I still have plenty of content coming your way. With that being said, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you don't already, follow me on Instagram at PhillyFoliage, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys in my next video. Have a great day.